Becky wrecked it for so many of us guys when she and Steve came to be our dorm parents. She set this insanely high bar for what we all wanted in a wife. Kind, sweet, caring, responsible, wise, patient, beautiful, funny, and she adored Steve and was committed to making him look good, which wasn't that easy of a job. Luckily, Steve gave us hope. We figured if he could get someone that amazing, maybe the rest of us losers could too. And just to prove that the world is totally unfair, I undeservedly got a Becky Livingston standard wife who works 24/7 trying to make a bum like me look good. Steve and I have a lot in common. When I came into Steve and Becky's lives, I was the lowest form of humanity. An 8th grade, beat up, mean, and paranoid boy. I had a terrible distrust of authority. I had all the baggage of 5 years forced integration, violence, and hatred from Los Angeles that was controlling me. Steve and Becky had to give me every form of punishment and discipline in the book. Plus, I helped Steve get creative to come up with new ones. After one of my creative infractions, he had me wash the whole dorm building with a rag. Smoking, streaking, destroying school property, breaking all the dating rules, and much worse yet, incredible ingratitude and disrespect for the people who gave their lives to come and serve us missionary kids. I was paddled 18 times in 18 weeks, but never cried. I had this wall of I am tough that I had built to protect myself. So God sent out this sneaky special agent, Becky Livingston. She didn't fight fair. She just walked right around my wall and loved me and never stopped. She didn't see a nasty, rebellious teenager. She saw a hurting kid with great potential. For 5 years, she kept reminding me of who God made me to be by her encouraging and funny responses to my stupid, immature, and often mean words and actions. Becky saw reality, but she chose to respond in love and give me that look of, I love you, but your behavior is taking a lot of joy out of our lives now. We all need a Becky Livingston that models truth and love. Becky was without guile. She was in the world, but not of the world. She was committed to making the world a better place. That is what she saw her parents doing in Borneo, which I think is one reason why she's so related to our family in Papua these last 27 years. The grandparents of the kids we work with were Stone Age cannibals. We have one of the highest rates of violence against women in the world. Tribal warfare is normal, and most of the parents of our students are barefoot, illiterate farmers. These kids come to us more beat up, paranoid, and naughty than I ever was. And God challenged us to provide an international standard of Christian education for them. It is ugly, messy, and full of failure. But now 3 classes have graduated, and many are reaching the dream of going on to international standard universities with full scholarships. Anyone who looks at our context and our vision will say it is crazy. And yes, it is. But that is the crazy love that Becky Livingston had for a rotten Neanderthal like me. She believed I would be far more than I was. We all need a Becky Livingston to convince us of what God sees. I graduated in 1985. I came to Irian Jaya, now Papua, as a missionary in 1996. And Becky has encouraged us from the start. Whose dorm mom is still writing them 4 decades on? A few years back, Becky wrote, "Happy birthday, Scotty. So proud of the man you have become and where you have let God lead you." Somehow she saw it all along. I wrote Becky back, thanking her for loving me and all of us so well. And her response was, "You have been easy to love." But that's not true. I have not been easy to love. I have been benched and red carded so many times, and I'm just grateful that God still lets me be on his team. But for Becky, I was easy to love because God's love was pouring through her to all of us. In this world of haters, cancel culture, critics who tear you to pieces, we all need a Becky Livingston to show us how God feels about us. As Becky was going into open heart surgery 43 years after I first started helping her and Steve learn patience, self-control, and forgiveness, I wrote saying that all her health issues should be blamed on me because of the stress I caused her. Then together, in her typically humorous way, we decided to blame it all on my roommate Lance Bergen. She then ended our message with her ever-present encouragement. Unbelievable what you guys are up against there and experiencing, Scotty. Praying for you all. I know it's hard, but you are making a difference in these kids' lives. How did she know we're making a difference? Because that's what she did for me and most of you. Her life made a difference. As she's going into surgery, she's praying for us in a tiny village on the island of New Guinea. That kind of sums up Becky Livingston. Now we've got 350 kids that God has trusted us with. We want to be their Becky Livingston. I am far from it, but remember, Steve is my inspiration. Just because it's way out of my league doesn't mean I shouldn't go for it. I hope we will always keep Becky as our inspiration as she imitated Christ. The world needs a lot more Becky Livingstons. Let's do our part.